Acolytes. All right. I do want to speak about this because I finished watching it. I did. I got through it. It took a while because I didn't watch it when I was in the UK. I wasn't motivated to watch it. Look, man, I know this got a lot of hate. I know it did. What I would say, what I would say is, in my opinion, I think we got some of the best saber action that I've seen in a long time. The martial
Agreed.
arts in this were absolutely. Did you watch it? Right? Did you watch all of it?
Yeah. I finished it
Okay,
as well. So
okay.
yeah, go
So
for it.
that the okay, episode what was it? Episode five and episode and the last episode were fun as hell because we got some of the best saber action ever. So I wish all episodes had that. Right now, this had the budget for this keeps getting compared. This had the same one episode had I think double the budget of minus one Godzilla minus one, and obviously that movie
Oh
smashed.
wow.
Yeah, one episode.
Okay.
One episode. I think it was double the budget of that movie, right? But the saber action in this, I think, is one of the best that we've ever got or out of Star Wars. One of them. I'm just saying one of them. It was absolutely amazing. It looked like Wu Ping Wu kind of directed the choreography, the
Yeah.
fight
Definitely.
choreography of like Matrix and all that sort of stuff. I would say I walked away with interest on these two characters. Manny, who Kime, is he was the
Yeah.
Sith
He
Lord
was a
thing,
Sith.
right?
Yeah.
I'm interested in him and the Korean actor. What's his name, man? Because I have to
Show.
say, my guy, yeah, Cho, yeah, Cho,
Yeah.
because
Cho.
my
Yeah.
guy actually he was a fan of Star Wars. Why is he not on the cast list? That's deep. Or am I missing it? Oh, there you go, Gio. So
Yeah.
yeah, my guy actually learned
So yeah.
Star Wars. Um, sorry, actually learned English to be in a Star Wars movie. I mean, you got to give him that, man. You got to give him credit for that. I built a relationship and with him and the Sith Lord thing I mentioned. He was
Mm.
awesome too. He looked awesome too. I liked his mask. I liked his look. It reminded me of kind of like I don't know, like in Soul Calibur. Remember Siegfried, where you look like it
Yeah.
looked awesome.
He had a menacing mask.
That's it. But other than that, look, other than that, the rest of the characters I don't give a shit about. The twin sisters and whatnot. Look, you got an interesting thing about the saber and how it turns red. And if okay, cool. The sisters I didn't really give a shit about. The rest of the characters I'm whatever. The story for me, yeah, whatever. But the saber action was awesome. I feel like if we got more saber action throughout the whole show, it would have kept me more entertained. But that's my positive side of it. The rest of it is like, all right, cool. I watched it. I'll move on to the next one. What was your thoughts?
Now listen, it's interesting because it started off with like a Jedi murder mystery that could have expanded a little bit more. They made us want to feel sorry about people turning to the dark side, which kind of threw me off a little bit. And they're starting to change what the Force means, for a lot of people. But bro, to be honest, like towards the end of it, it's a shame I'm saying this because it just didn't have that Star Wars feel to it, good and bad. You know, uh, it didn't really make me care for the characters either. Towards the end, it was like just tell me what going, man. Allow all this mystery, man. Have more lightsaber battles because they were the best. I think episode three all the way to the last one, we had some amazing lightsaber battles, and I think, as you said, best we've seen in the Star Wars universe. But it didn't really make me care. Did you see the post-credit scene at the end?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. So spoiler alert. I mean, it got me a little bit excited
Yeah,
and
same. But
yeah.
it's like everybody's like, "Oh, I want to see what happens to May and blah blah." I don't care, man. What happened? This Jedi just darked her friend and said he was the one who caused all of this madness.
Yeah,
Where
kind
my
of
guy was just trying
betrayal.
to find some, yeah, like some betrayal, and my guy was just trying to get a bit of redemption and try and sort things out. Uh, they showed a lot more pain of what a Jedi goes through and some of the decision making that happens in the process. But to be honest, right now, bro, and with everything the way it's turning over, like the reason why I think we got, and this is just me thinking about pop culture and what we're getting at the moment, uh, like Deadpool Wolverine. Guys, make sure you check out our review, spoiler review, full hour of us just therapy sessioning out is on the channel. But it's because there was no other content to take on, bro, this year. So we just got Deadpool and Wolverine to think about. Now, with the Star Wars universe, it's the same thing. You're chugging out all of this stuff. There's going to be a point where it's, as I said, comic book stuff is already oversaturated. So with Star Wars stuff, now it's getting oversaturated, where it's
Mhm.
coming to a point now where it's like, ah, man,
And I know
don't
it's
care.
yeah, and I know it's all somehow connected, but it all to me personally, all feels so disconnected. And I
Disconnected.
don't know
Yeah.
what's where, what's time. I know an expert, Star Wars expert, can tell you what timeline and what. I, as a, I wouldn't say I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I'm just above a casual. But if you, honest, if you've made it confusing for me to understand where all of this fits in the timeline, then could you imagine the casuals are like, fuck it. Yeah, I don't want, I'm not interested in this shit. So I agree with Star Wars, it's so all over the place, in my opinion. It feels so
Mm.
disconnected. The only one that they smashed it with was Mandalorian, and I think they just built on a character. They built on him
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Grogu, and I think what they done great on that was they it was like their adventure. It wasn't like too much. It was just like they're going on adventures with a big storyline in the background, and that builds you up those characters. You know what I mean? And that gave you
Hmm.
love for those characters, and that's why I still think Mandalorian is my favorite Star Wars content piece. Now at the end, I don't even know if we said it. The spoiler was you see Master
Yoda.
Yoda, yeah, which was cool a little bit. My thing is like, why don't you give us a Yoda show? Like, give us a show about instead of new characters and all this stuff, give us a show about the ultimate Jedi Master, which is Yoda, and how all this shit started with him and whatnot. That's what I want to see, and make that interesting. Make it about him. Don't try to go all philosophical and shit. Just make it about him. Make it about where this Jedi stuff started from that perspective.
Mm.
But you know, you're just oversaturated with new characters. You know, like at least with the MCU and the DCU, when you introduce characters, they're gonna all team up at the end in some way. You know, it leads up to something.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of
yeah.
this to me is not leading anywhere. That's why I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever. I'll watch it and I'll forget about it and I'll move on. And you're just gonna keep building up hate. I feel like they need to structure it better. And
Yeah, I
whatnot.
mean, I think they were turning at too many projects, thinking people are gonna just eat it all up, and not realizing, you know what, it's just losing its substance. Like, I mean, and I've said that about, like, say, like with, and people probably get at me later on, even with Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, there's no substance to it. That is just straight action. I'm loving all of this moments. You know what I mean? Uh, but it doesn't have to. Some things doesn't have to have substance for us to not enjoy it. I'm not
Well,
saying that. Just
but
saying,
that one has been built with those two characters and those two actors and all that sort of stuff for the last what 15, 20 years, right? So
yeah,
to defend that a little bit, the substance was already there. I mean, you know what I mean? That was already there. So um, you know, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to compare it to because that's all, and not just with them, with all the other things.
actually, no, you're right. You're right because of the characters. We already know them. Uh, but yeah, man, with the Star Wars stuff now, trying to introduce so many people, and it just it's confusing, bro. It's
Yeah,
confusing. Like, I don't need to know about all of these other people and the rest. The thing is, they could have made it work, because you do character building and the rest of it. But then, like, everybody started like it was a murder mystery, so we're trying to find out what happened. But then suddenly there's more to it, and I don't care about these Jedi's and what they've done.
Mando,
So by
listen,
then,
Mando and Grogu, I care about so much in the Star Wars universe. So I feel like you built something from there, right? You had Luke show up, and I know it's in that time period and whatnot. If you started making movies around that time period, Mando makes an appearance like he did in Boba Fett, all that sort of stuff. That's where you got me, right? You built those characters, put story around that time period, be it a big battle, maybe Luke shows up, whatever, right? That was character building. This is like these characters. This was what years before all of this stuff, right? So they're never gonna cross. And I'm like, well, why do I care about them? Why should I care about? Why do I have to care about these guys? Because they're not gonna cross in with the new stuff. Like it's just like I said, all over the place. I would say you spent a great. I think you done great with Mando and baby. Sorry, Grogu, build off those guys, man, in my opinion, you know, and around that time period with Boba Fett, with, you know, all that sort of stuff around there, man. That's my opinion, man. You're giving us new characters and oversaturating it, changing things about the Force. You're gonna get a lot of backlash, right? If you're willing to take that backlash, then take it. But some people, some fans, man, like they're fans, man. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for people to change and shit. But anyway,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with change. I suppose I welcome change, but it's how you feed that into us. Because I think the problem is now at the moment is that change is instant now. We're getting stuff, constantly. And where before it took ages to take time, and I feel like I'm at an age now where that's the reason why I still love old hip hop, and nothing can beat that. That's what Dad used to say about his music back then. You know what I mean? The 60s and 70s probably had the best music, but we grew up in an era where we got to enjoy all of that and still respect it. But I take on some of the new stuff. But then as I grow older, I'm not into certain things because I'm used to what I've got and love what I got. But I'm always open to try new things. But what happens is when you give me that boog sweet that tastes like vomit, why am I going to go back to it for? If the taste didn't go well the first time around, all right, I'll try it a second time. Let's see what happens. But I feel like we're trying, and constantly battling our minds to try and enjoy something where we maybe not even like it. You know what I mean? Uh, but here's me losing my plot and context again. But I'm happy to try new things, but give it to me slowly.
yeah,
Give
I
it to me
agree.
like breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs. Give me
I
breadcrumbs, man. You
maybe
know,
I'm just easy to please from this perspective, but I feel like if you just gave me the acolyte, and you gave me those amazing saber fights throughout the whole show, not saying the whole freaking thing needs to be saber fights, but if you just kind of pull it around, I think you would have captured me more because I sat back and really enjoyed those parts because they were freaking done really well.
really well,
Um,
bro.
yeah, so I'm not just saying it's gonna be about that. I'm just saying it's like I don't know, man. Like I'm the characters that one of them's gone, he's dead. So and then the other one, okay, there's more to tell about him. He looked cool. He was very ruthless. He killed bare people. I'm interested in him. Maybe give me a side story on him being a savage or something. I don't mind that. But the rest of the Jedi's I don't give a shit about. But yeah, that's the Star Wars universe. I don't know where they've taken it. I don't know, man. But we'll see, I guess.